Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Friday, the 6th of September 2024. Just before we get into the alert, just to let you know, there'll be no market alerts next week. I'm having a week's break before we get into the autumn and, of course, the winter season that follows. So no market alert next week, but it will resume a week on Monday. Right, let's get into today's alerts. Stocks fade ahead of payrolls as bonds, oil convinced hard landing is inevitable, so crude oil still dropping. Markets entered hibernation mode ahead of tomorrow's jobs report yesterday, and dollar drops while stocks and bonds chop ahead of payrolls on Friday, which obviously is today. US stocks lacked direction for the majority of the day ahead of NFP numbers. Speaking of unemployment numbers, yesterday's ADP numbers came in a lot cooler than forecast, 144,000, 99,000, which obviously is good for the metals, not good for the dollar. But that's 2 out of the 3 now that have come in lower than forecast. Let's have a look at the FOMC, NFP numbers for today. And we can see that we're looking at 164,000, so they could be hotter than previous. In a situation other than we're in at the moment, an inflationary situation and trying to get interest rates down, a positive number, a greater than number than the previous is good. But in this case, Powell is going to be looking for the 164,000 certainly to be a lot lower. If it goes down to 100,000, then it's bingo, we get the rate cut. We're probably going to get it anyway, but here is potential for 3 strikes, and the rate cut of 0.25% happens not next week, it'll be the week after next when I'm back. So let's see what happens with these numbers at 1:30. That's all the market's waiting for. There are a few other things, but it's certainly what it's looking for. Got Wallace speaking at 4 p.m. as well. For some unknown reason, he's been upgraded to a high impact news item there as well. Right, let's have a look at this lackluster market yesterday that went into hibernation and kick off with the Dow. Well, it doesn't look too lackluster to me. Down again yesterday, but trying to recover. We've had 3 days straight down now since the market came back from the Labour Day celebrations on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and looking a bit more positive overnight there. But look at the 30-minute chart. Electronic market once again holding until 2:30 cash. Market falls out of bed. Then we get the bounce after the selling's taken place. This is a picture that and a pattern that we've seen quite a bit of recently. Overnight, the market is trying to bounce there, and it's sitting around the close and the DP. It needs to get above these, and in the 30-minute Dow, it certainly needs to get back above the 50 EMA, and also yesterday's high, it's got the 200 MA there as resistance as well. But that could all change with the numbers. If they come out positive, there's likelihood that the Dow will shake out first to the downside and then move to the upside. So in the bigger picture, we need to get back above the 20 bar moving average and the 5 in order to have any chance of getting to the all-time high of 41589, which was made the week before last. Actually, it's last week, isn't it? Thinking about it, before the Labour Day celebrations. In the German DAX, the market's still treading water. Some interesting volume down here as well, because it's above average and the market's not selling off. So there's some sort of support coming in here to hold this market at the moment to try and get back above that 18,993 level and also get to the 19,000 before they then have a serious pullback. In the 30-minute chart, very choppy yesterday. We moved to the upside after a bit of indecision for the first hour and a half. Market then obviously just waited for the Dow. Market pulled back, and then interesting picture overnight as well. The market's come down and retested over towards the lows. Needs to get above the close and the DP there as well. Where's the 200 MA in this market? It's above. So again, just like the Dow, we need to take out the 200 if we get to the high. So keep an eye on that one as well if you trade the larger time frames. In the S&P 500, not as big a sell-off as the Dow. Again, trying to find support. Bit of volume down there as well. And 30-minute chart, once again, sideways. Market rallies up, then sells off with the cash market. The low has been retested overnight as well and come off this. Needs to get back above the close. The DP, the 50 EMA there as well. Meanwhile, in the UK, the FT100, again, they're all showing this cluster of volume, trying to hold the markets at the moment to get back towards the 84193. Again, there's resistance in the way with the 50 EMA, the 5 and the 20. So all of these markets looking a bit weakish at the moment. Maybe the NFP numbers today will turn things around. Yesterday the market trading up, we put in the high and then we came back 89% before the market sold off. Hasn't retested the low overnight like the US markets and the DAX. So again, finding a bit of support there, but certainly needs to get above the DP in order to move higher there. US dollar has been drifting down for the last couple of days, and overnight prices for the US dollar still moving slightly lower. Again, it's all dependent upon the NFP numbers when they're released at 1:30. Let's have a look at the metals. And in silver, allowed to move up yesterday, but you can see it didn't stay on the high, was pushed back below the 50 EMA and the 20 bar moving average, but finding a bit of support overnight there. Let's just have a look at the 30-minute chart. Started off sideways, spiked up, then trod water before then moving up once more. It's been sideways in a range overnight, but the good news is it's above the DP and the close at the moment. But if those NFP numbers come out hotter than 164, then we will see the metals getting hammered to the downside. And it's Friday, and there's a pattern there now as well where they like to push the metals to the downside. Gold heading back to the all-time high. Again, if the figures are lower than 164,000, then you'll see the gold break and put in a new all-time high. Yesterday, moving up quite nicely in the 30-minute chart. Of course, the London fix market down to the 50 EMA before being allowed to move back to the upside. Needs to take out yesterday's high in order to get back to, as we say, that 2534 level there. And in the gold-silver ratio, allowed to move lower yesterday, but again, watch the 90 level if those numbers come out far greater, or at the 164 level. Anything, I suppose, really, if we think about it. Let me just go back to the numbers there. Anything greater than 114,000 actually is where, but 164 is the forecast. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there with those numbers. So anything greater than 114 will have an impact on the metals. So back to the gold silver ratio, you can see yesterday coming off the low as well, so they're trying to once again move the price of silver down against gold there. Right, let's have a look at yesterday's trades. As the headline said, the market went into hibernation a bit. Again, there was a bit of spiking volatility, but let's have a look. So in the pre-market session, we can see the market struggling with the 200 MA, but that wasn't to be the case when the cash market opened. You'll see prices have drifted lower. We had a bit of a shakeout, and then it was a launch pad as prices were brought back. It was just to show the intentions of getting these markets back to the all-time highs despite the bad news and the prospect of a rate cut. And then eventually the market ran out of steam at the high of the previous day of Wednesday. Market then started to move lower, moved the stop to break even, and sat there through the news, which wasn't a good idea considering the market had come down to the psychological BRN there, big round number. Good place to take profits, but fortunately it started to move back down, and as it started to retrace from here back down to here, you get around an 89% Fibonacci retracement, and then decided to exit stage left as prices then went into sort of hibernation. They did move lower eventually, which is a bit of a shame, but down to the 200 MA, the DP, the close, and then you can see the market bouncing off this area as well as prices then made their way back up through the mid-morning and before the US news. And then we get the ADP numbers and prices reacting to the downside on these because they came out lower than forecast. So it'll be interesting at 1:30 with these non-farm payroll numbers. Off the 200 MA, market then sideways, waiting for the US, fairly quiet. We had the news yesterday afternoon. The reason I reloaded the charts there because the market spiked down there and then moved back. So I just wanted to make sure the data was correct. This signal's too close to the news, and you'll see again prices very volatile, and the same here with this one as well. And then the market jumps up and we hit the high, which we managed to hit first thing in the morning. You can see how the market sailed all the way down and then come back. Market then becomes really sideways, and then we trade up through the scalp, and the market coming back to the high. And as you'll see there, we then get a potential sell signal. Market moves lower, and then we go into the close. So the last two trades offering profits as the afternoon session settles down a bit there. But then prices continue to move back down with the US markets there and find support at the DP. Quick look overnight, see what the market's doing. And at the moment, the market's still struggling with the DP and the close of yesterday, and also just taking out the 200 MA. Doesn't mean to say it's going to go lower or stay lower. Again, it's all going to be dependent on what the market does when it opens at 7 a.m. on the futures, and then over to the cash at 8, and then of course those non-farm payroll numbers. Okay, that's it for this one. Let's see what those numbers are at 1:30. As I say, I'll be missing in action for next week for a short break, and then resuming on a week on Monday. Okay, that's it. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. And as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.